In this video, I will reveal the new, simple, effective, scalable, and easy to implement system that I use to generate $32,000 a month coaching athletes all online. And you can see the screenshot right here. This is from May of 2023 when I was running my own remote training business. The remote training profit path is the easiest and most effective way for sports coaches to make more money for less of their time without sacrificing the quality of their coaching. And it's generated hundreds of thousands of dollars for my clients while only working for a few hours every single week. And my name is Nick Neville. You may recognize my name. I'm the guy who helps sports coaches reach more athletes and make more money by leveraging social media and online training. I've worked with some of the biggest remote training coaches, including Alec Heyman from Connected Performance, Ian Jenkins, Drew Richard, Lucas Kephart, Eric Alonso from Full Count, Evan Mendoza, Jordan Kennedy, and 100 plus other coaches just like them. Here are some of their Instagram profiles. Connected Performance has trained over 1,000 athletes online. Drew and Ian have a small country of following just combined between the two of them. Jordan's got 54K, Evan's got 60K on Instagram, Lucas has 132K on Instagram, and the list goes on. And tons of the biggest coaches you see out there right now either are or were my clients at one point. I've helped generate hundreds of thousands of dollars through online training and indirectly impacted thousands of athletes all over the world. And you can see right here, Evan signed up his first international client in Japan. He says it's been a dream of his to work with kids internationally. Amazing. And also you can see right here, $70,000 total in contract value since joining on January 23rd. That was in May. Reeves right here landed the top left-handed pitcher out of South Africa. Crazy what the world of social media can bring into your life. He's changing lives of somebody in South Africa. Okay. And so it's my mission to change the way sports training is done by providing coaches the resources, skills, and tools they need to reach as many athletes as possible who don't have access to high quality training. And to be honest with you, I was once that athlete who needed help, a young baseball player who did everything he possibly could to achieve his dreams of becoming a professional baseball player. I turned to social media to learn how to train, for better or worse. I spent hours and hours researching programs, watching video of Major League Baseball players, and learning from coaches who were posting their information online of how I could improve my own game. And the problem is that if you have information without the knowledge of how to implement it, you're in huge trouble. And that's exactly where I was at. Super talented and motivated, but almost too curious for my own good. And I ended up trying everything and anything to improve. And while I did have a large amount of success in my career, I played at the University of Notre Dame, San Jac, a top junior college baseball program in the Houston area, the University of South Carolina, and Southern Illinois University. So 3 D1 schools and a top 5 junior college in the country. I felt as if there was a lot left on the table. Here's me after I set a school home run record. I had a roller coaster of a career by the time I figured it out and set a single season school home run record at Southern Illinois. It was too late. And at first, I thought all of my efforts went to waste. Because I didn't play in the major leagues, my career was an absolute failure. And then it clicked. I realized I could utilize my skills to help others avoid the same mistakes that I did. And so my online training business was born. I'm not the only athlete ever who has suffered from this same thing. And in 2024, athletes are swarmed with information. They don't know who to turn to, who to listen to, and who is right. And coaches don't know how to even reach or train those athletes in need. The solution is the remote training profit path. It is the simplest and easiest way for coaches to create, market, and sell online training programs while improving the quality of their coaching to heights they've never achieved before. Since teaching others the remote training profit path, dozens of other coaches have hit $10,000 a month by training athletes strictly online. Let me show you how it works. And this is the simple 9-step system that you need to follow in order to create an online training program from the ground up. If you've never created a successful online training program before, then you're in the right place because the thought of it can be incredibly daunting. I totally get it. However, I guarantee you it's not nearly as scary or difficult as you might think if you have some help. So my goal with this document is to give you the help that you need in order to conceptualize what online training is, what it consists of, and how you can do it too. Keep in mind that I trained over 250 athletes in just 10 months, all through online training. I now work with over 100 other coaches teaching them how to do the same thing. And so if you're overwhelmed by the unknown right now, please Don't worry, we'll get you there. With the right information, guidance, and support, you'll see how simple this can really be, but only if you meet the following requirements. So the requirements to execute this plan are as follows. Number 1, you must actually be a good coach. Who would have thought? This seems self-explanatory, but I cannot turn water into wine. If you aren't a good coach, don't have a ton of value to provide, or don't train athletes already, then this certainly isn't for you. Number 2, you have a growth mindset. For most of you going through this right now, you've probably never trained anybody online. And if you have, it's probably not a ton of people. It probably wasn't 250 people, right? And if you have, it's not to the scale. So there is a right way to do this. You just have to learn. So if you're not willing to admit that there is a way to do it and all you have to do is learn it, then this isn't for you. Number 3, a work ethic. I would love to sell you the dream that this doesn't take 15 to 20 hours of work in the beginning to set up. But the reality is that it does. It takes time, it takes effort, and it's not easy, but it is simple. I have a saying in my community, run the plays. Literally just do exactly what I tell you to do in this document and in this video, and you'll have success. I promise. Number 4, access to athletes. So this plan works best with coaches that already have a roster of athletes, although not necessary. I've worked with plenty of coaches that don't have tons of athletes already, and we help them absolutely blow up. The coaches that don't have an active roster, though, typically have at least one of the following. Number 1, high-level playing experience. They played at the collegiate or professional level of their sport. Number 2, a sizable, targeted social following. So this audience can literally only be 1,000 people, sometimes even less, but it must be targeted. If you make videos about baking cookies and growing Instagram following of 100,000 followers, that's awesome. Super happy for you, but you're not going to be able to sell remote training from it. But if you have all 4 of these qualities, you literally cannot fail. Okay? Seriously. So now that we have that out of the way, how exactly do you create an online training business? If you follow these 9 steps, you'll build the business of your dreams. Number 1. Who is my ideal avatar? So an ideal avatar is the one client that you can basically guarantee you get results for. They're the one person that you know if you got in contact with them, you guys would click instantly. They would understand you and you would understand them. You know exactly how to get them results. These are the people we want to cater to. There are tons of people that we can help, but the reality of the situation is that we cannot help everybody. We need to be very specific with who we can help so that we can create a program that is individualized every time without having to put in too much extra effort to do so. The way that we can do this is by identifying who we can help best. And if we get 100 people who all have basically the exact same problem, you can essentially give them the exact same program and have it be individualized, because if you have a good solution to the problem, it will work every single time. See how that works? Hopefully. So the first step is to get really clear on who we want to work with. Think of an athlete that you are currently working with that if you could clone them 100 times, you would be the happiest coach on the planet. Got it? Cool. Now think to yourself, who is this person? What are their problems? What are their dreams? Once we understand the psychology behind the person we want to help, we can then start to create a business that caters to solving their problems specifically. Blow is an example of my ideal avatar. Essentially, he's a younger version of myself, and he really needed me. So here I am teaching coaches how to find their ideal avatar to help as many younger me's as possible. How noble of you, Nick. Example, my avatar is younger me, 17 years old, super hardworking, smart, but just smart enough to get in his own way. He thinks he's smarter than he is. What's changed? But he doesn't trust tons of coaches because he's done so much research on his own, so you have to prove to him that you know what you're doing and you can actually help. Not that you're just going to tell him what every other coach has told them. The biggest problem this guy faces is that he doesn't know how to get better. He's doing tons of research on his own, but he can't quite put it all together. He just needs access to somebody who's further along in the journey, somebody who can save him tons of time and help him get his head straight. The main thing my ideal avatar wants is to be seen as a high-level player. It really boils down to him wanting, for better or worse, a high ranking on PG, a commitment in his bio, a level of status. He wants to be respected when he gets to the field and feared when he's at the plate. He wants it all. He's highly ambitious and motivated to do whatever it takes to get there. Number 2, who do I train that fits this description? So once we have the avatar nailed down, it's time to identify who would be a great fit for your program. This is why if you have an active roster, you have a huge leg up because you likely created your ideal avatar based on an athlete you train already. If you don't have an active roster, you'll need to dip into your network or your social following to identify these people. This should be relatively easy because the offer you're going to make them is too easy to say yes to. Gather up a group of 3 to 5 athletes who fit the description of your ideal avatar and deem them as the test group. Make them an offer so good that they feel stupid saying no to it. And when you make them that offer, they'll have no choice but to be a test subject for your first edition of your online training program. And this could be free, it could be $5 a week, it could be $10 a session, etc. But make them an offer so good that they feel stupid saying no to it because you cannot afford a no right now. Here's an example. I've identified 3 potential candidates as my test group who remind me of a younger version of myself. High school baseball players that play infield. They need help in all aspects of the game. They're willing to put in the work. They just need a very definitive plan. So let's say I charge them each pretty standard $100 an hour for lessons currently. I tell them that for only $50 a month, they'll get more access to me with a custom, comprehensive program breaking down exactly what they need to be doing in all facets of the game. In exchange, they'll give me honest feedback on the program. They'll obviously say yes because who wouldn't want to have everything I'm offering for only $1.64 per day? I know this is cheap. There's a method to the madness. Please have patience. There is a plan. Number 3, if I could only help one athlete, what would I provide? This is a line of thinking that will get your creative juices flowing. The beauty of the internet is that we have the capability to help on such a deeper level than if we just do one lesson one time per week. So we can create resources to help these athletes without us having to explain the same concept over and over again. This saves time and increases the retention of the content because the athlete can go back and rewatch it. Additionally, because we are not constrained by the time with each individual athlete, we can give them so much more information and apply it to several different athletes at the exact same time. So when answering this question, do not put constraints on your thoughts. The sky is the limit. You can do just about anything you want within reason, of course. Here's an example of what I would do to provide my ideal avatar and the 3 main pillars of my program. So number 1, skill development on both sides of the ball. So I was a shortstop, so I would help people with hitting, fielding, and throwing. Use your sport and your expertise in this example. Okay, number 2, increase athleticism, improve strength overall, more muscle mass, increase power output, run, jump, throw, hit, faster, higher, harder, etc. Be a better athlete. Number 3, mentorship. I had no clue how the recruiting process actually worked. I didn't know what slowing the game down actually meant. I was driven by my emotions, mostly fear, and I needed somebody that I trusted to be there, right? So this is what I'm going to provide in my program. Skill development, I'm going to help them increase their athleticism, and I'm going to provide them mentorship. How do we do that? That's what we're going to talk about right now. So building the ultimate program, this is where things can get fun and where most people get lost. So if you've never built a training program before, please do not worry. In this document is exactly what I would provide to my group of test subjects, assuming they fit my ideal avatar. And while the skill work, strength programming, etc. will likely change for each individual, this is the structure that I would follow. This is likely the most comprehensive example of an online training program that I could have possibly put together. So with that being said, there are 5 components of a successful and comprehensive online training program. You do not need all 5 of these components when you're starting out, so don't let that trip you up. And you certainly don't need your program to be as in-depth and holistic. Realistically, you just need to start. But this is an in-depth version. So what you do need is a plan to help your athletes get better. So a great question to ask yourself is, if I was with my athletes in person every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, what would I have them do? You can actually prescribe them exactly what you just imagined. The exact routine, the exact drill, the exact progression every single day. Imagine how much better your athletes would get if you could be there with them every single day. That's exactly what you want to do with this online training program. Act as if you were there every single day so they can essentially download all of the information you have in your brain and have access to it over and over and over again. Does that make sense? Cool. Because the best way to create the baseline of your online training program is to transition your in-person athletes into a hybrid program. Because a hybrid program is one in which you do some work in person and you do some work remotely. Let's face it, your 30-minute to 1-hour lessons every week just aren't cutting it. They're really not helping anybody. You have to chase them down every week. So now that you have your ideal avatar, you know exactly what you're going to provide. You can start to create a hybrid training program for your one specific athlete. And as you transition more in-person athletes to a hybrid program, you'll get better and better at the program creation. But let's not go too much further than that for now. Here are the 5 components of any successful online training program. Number 1, the daily routine of your athletes, or otherwise known as the daily program. What they actually need to be doing. Each drill, exercise, routine, etc. should have a supplemental resource, right? AKA a video, something like that, showing them exactly what it is that they need to be doing, how much of it. Okay, number 2, informational modules. You're explaining more in-depth concepts, breaking down the nuances of the game, going over game footage, mechanical/technical breakdowns, etc. Apply this to your own sport in your own specific skill. You know exactly what I mean. Number 3, direct communication. So support to execute and emotional support. Because if you guys know, if you're a good coach, you probably know a lot of coaching has to do with actually playing therapist and not so much actually being a coach, right? Number 4, community. So you want a platform for players to communicate with each other. It allows you to answer questions so everybody can learn at once. So for example, you break down somebody's in-game footage. Let's say you're a quarterback coach and you show them, hey, this is how you diagnose what a cover 2 is. You do that on a call with one athlete. You put that into your community so everyone can see it. Or even better, you run it on a group call with 20 other athletes showing them an in-game breakdown of footage. So that way, everybody gets to learn. You record it and you upload it into your community for anybody that couldn't be there. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so this is what I would have my avatar do if I was training athletes at this moment in time. So daily off-season training program. You can see right here, I have a hitting routine. So exactly what to do every single day. I don't need to spend a ton of time showing you exactly what this is. But if you want this document, you can go ahead down below the description of this video. You can go ahead, put your name, phone number, email, and Instagram handle in. We'll send it over to you, right? So if you want to go down below this video and opt into that, just give me your contact information. I'll send it over to you. So that way you can look through the script of this video. But you can see here that I'm giving them what to do every single day and see how in-depth it is. So I'm going machine work, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what to focus on, okay? A throwing routine, how far they need to throw, what they need to focus on, right? A fielding routine, what they need to do, how many sets, how many reps. I literally laid all this stuff out. And then I went into strength training. Okay, so Monday, they're doing sprint training, then they're squatting, and then they're going to finish off with some accessory lower body work. Tuesday, we're going to do some upper body work. Wednesday is a recovery day. Thursday, sprint training with lower body. Friday, upper body day. And then Saturday, optional get jacked day, right? That's kind of what I like to do. And then Sunday, off. And then a warm-up routine, right? So I'm providing them with what to do every single day, an entire program. This is the most comprehensive version of like an entire program that you could provide for somebody. And if you've ever played in college, you know that this is how in-depth it is. Okay? And if you're ever a professional athlete, you know that these are the types of programs that actually help people get better. So you're creating those for your athletes. Literally all you're doing is just telling them what to do every single day. And this is a sample. Obviously, every single individual would have small minor nuances, but this is why the ideal avatar is so important. Because if you have relatively similar athletes with similar problems, you can more or less progress them the exact same way or in similar ways for a lot less time on your hands, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So let's go into informational modules. So the swing analysis, on our first call, I do a mechanical analysis so the athlete understands why we're working on the things that we're working on and what we're working towards. I'd put up a side-by-side of him and a Major League Baseball player that he really likes, or a Major League Baseball player that I think he can model, right? Throwing analysis, same thing. Fielding analysis, same thing, right? I would show him what he needs to improve on visually so that way he could see it. And then I'd record it so that way he has that as an asset for the rest of his life to refer back to, okay? And then I would make a video resource that's how to think the game. So how to approach at bats in different counts, things like that. Obviously, if you don't coach baseball, you coach football, you coach basketball, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's say you're a QB coach, like how to read a cover 2. Or let's say you're a basketball coach that teaches point guards, right? How to run the pick and roll, things like that, okay? Where you're teaching concepts in these informational modules. On top of that, I would give them nutritional resources, a video resource discussing how to calculate your macros, for example, how to gain weight, how to gain muscle, how to meal prep, recovery, so what you should be doing to maximize your sleep, how to optimize your sleep, different things like that. And then how to be like a high level shortstop, right? So I played shortstop in the SEC. And so I would kind of walk them through like what it really takes, right? Like the mental aspect of what it really takes. And then like here, right? What it takes in terms of the measurable, showing them what exactly they need to be doing. Mental strength, how to control your breathing, how to set up goals, how to increase your awareness, like what success actually looks like and how to define success, how to create habits, okay? And so this is probably super overwhelming for a lot of you if you've never done anything like this before. But keep in mind, I've worked with over 350 clients online, so I know exactly how to do this. And this probably only took me a couple hours to come up with in total, right? And I played baseball for a long time, did a lot of training, and I worked with a lot of baseball players, and I've coached a lot of coaches on how to do stuff like this, okay? And yes, this is going to take time, but that's the whole point. If you want to provide your athletes a higher level of service and you say that you're about it, this is what you're willing to do, okay? So direct communication. A lot of people ask me, what is the specific communication that we should do? So I would say like weekly communication, and it should be required in your program. So every single Sunday, they'll send me a video of their swing, a video of them taking ground balls, a video of their top set of bench, their top set of squat, and then a weekly check-in form due every single Sunday. Okay. And then I will send one outbound message every single week, reminding them, let's say every Friday, hey, make sure to fill out your stuff. Send me all your stuff by Sunday. Okay. Supplementary is messaging throughout the week. So if they have questions or want me to like look at videos throughout the week, that's 100% okay, but it is required to send it every single week on Sunday. And then I would give them homework on the informational modules that apply to their specific problems. So let's say I have 5 athletes and they're each working on different things individually. I would create informational modules to show them, hey, this is what you should be focusing on, or this is like a concept that you need to grasp in order to really take off with what we're trying to do, right? I would only assign 1 to 3 relevant informational modules with like, hey, give me your takeaways, and then submit all these answers to me in a Google form. Okay. On top of that, I would do bi-weekly Zoom calls with my athletes. And to be eligible for the Zoom calls, you must have completed every single required action step. So that way, if they're not doing the action steps, they forfeit their calls. Okay. So you must have completed all of the homework assignments in order to be eligible for your Zoom calls. This is how you know if they're actually about it or not. This is how you hold them accountable. Okay. And so updates, you just get a feel for how they're doing, make adjustments to the program, etc. And you can be messaging with them back and forth. Okay. And this is what's going to save you a ton of time. And honestly, your athletes will absolutely love it. Okay. So participation, you want them to upload all of their videos into the community group chat. So that way everybody engages with each other, people or everybody else in the program. You want to have some sort of togetherness as well. So you can have them message each other on social media and require them to post an introduction in the community platform. That's what I have people do in my program now. Okay. Group calls. So if you have 2 people in your program, you should run weekly group calls based on when your athletes can make it, typically evenings after school hours or on weekends after their games, and pick a topic that is relevant to your athletes and discuss your thoughts on the topic. Then allow your athletes to ask questions. It should be a free-flowing conversation. Okay. Record this on Zoom, upload this into a database library. You can literally just go on YouTube, list it as an unlisted YouTube video, and then all future members can go back and watch all the content. You can just grab the link there. Super, super simple. So in short, creating an online training program can be super in-depth and comprehensive if you want it to be. Now, if you're just starting out, you probably shouldn't try to copy exactly what I just did. In fact, you definitely shouldn't. The best way to start creating an online program is by getting an athlete who embodies your ideal avatar and solving one specific problem. Do they need to get stronger? Do they need better skills? Do they have a mindset that holds them back? And as time goes on, you'll then develop other aspects to your online training program. I created that outline of what my online training program would be in just a couple hours, and I can recycle lots of what I put together to another athlete who is very, very similar, because they'll have similar problems with similar goals and similar characteristics. You see how this works. Awesome. And so now you might be thinking, I've created a great program and I even have my in-person athletes on a hybrid program. But how do I get strangers interested in my program? Don't worry. That's exactly what we're going to cover next. So market the F out of it. Social media is an absolute beast. And if you don't know how to use it, then this section is for you, because by now you should know exactly who you want to help, what you want to help them with, and should already have some in-person athletes on a hybrid training program. If you don't have any in-person athletes and you just want to go strictly online, that's fine. This is where you need to start. Okay, so that begs the question, how do I get strangers interested? And that's exactly what we're going to cover in this section. And if you're brand new to social media, then do not worry. Social media is just a skill like anything else. However, it's really easy to get caught up in the weeds. So we first need to understand what our main objective of a post is. And so the three main objectives of posts are discoverability, shifting beliefs, and building trust. So let's talk about discoverability, and it's exactly what it sounds like. We want more people to discover our stuff. And the way that we do that is by understanding how the Instagram algorithm works. Instagram wants people to stay on the platform, so they incentivize creators who can get people to stay on the platform, aka make videos that get people to watch them all the way through multiple times. And on top of that, share it with friends. Okay, the videos that get a high amount of watch time and shares will be pushed out to more random strangers. So if a video is 10 seconds long and on average somebody watches it 3 times, that's 30 seconds of watch time. That video will absolutely hit, because if you can keep somebody's attention, then multiply it by getting them to capture other people's attention, you have a hit. So create your discoverability posts to get people to watch your stuff for longer and share it with other people. The second is shifting beliefs. And now most people think that they just need to post free game on social media, which is true. Why do you think I'm creating this video right now, where I'm giving you the farm for free right now? However, more importantly, we need to shift the beliefs of our audience. If you understand your ideal avatar, you know that they hold some beliefs that you probably need to break. For example, a lot of people in my audience think that online training can't be beneficial. And so what do I do in my marketing? I show people how online training literally changed my life and how it changed the life of other athletes that I trained. I describe the depth of what you can do online versus what you can do in person. I break your beliefs about what you think is possible through online training. And when I break those beliefs that you hold, you're more likely to listen to what I have to say, because I'm telling you something that you've never heard before. Okay? So yes, I'm providing you tons of value, free value in this document, but not without a reason. Okay? The third is that we need to build trust. And we are in what many marketers out there are calling a trust recession. Many of you reading this right now might be skeptical of the results I post on my Instagram, if that's where you found me from. You might be skeptical of me as a human being. You don't trust this random guy on Instagram telling you that you can make $10,000 a month coaching sports all online. It seems too good to be true. So in order to get you to believe me, I have to win your trust. I know my intentions are pure, but you don't. And so it is my responsibility to show you how much I truly care and how much I can actually help. And you must take the same responsibility if you want athletes and their parents to part ways with their hard-earned money. How can we do that? Well, a few ways. Number one, provide value to your audience. It seems incredibly simple, but value is what's going to be the leading cause to get somebody to trust you on a surface level. You want somebody to watch your stuff and think, dang, they really know what they're talking about. Number two, show proof that you can help. This can be done in one of two ways. Either showing testimonials from athletes you've trained or showing your progress as an athlete or your results as an athlete. People want to know that you can help them, and a pedigree of success as an athlete or a coach goes a long way. Okay, number three, establishing a connection with your audience. You're just a talking head on social media to most people, so we need to let people into our lives. Show them that you're a real person. Ian Jenkins said this to me one time. He said social media is all about who is willing to expose themselves the most. And he was right. Social media can be an absolute beast if you know how to leverage it properly. But the best way to have success with it is to just be consistent. Because over a long enough time horizon, you will have success if you just don't quit. So don't quit. And once you figure it out and start getting people interested in training with you, it's time to sell to that audience. Because what's really the point of doing all of this if we can't put food on the table? Or if we can't make a career out of this? Beats me. So, sell it for a high price. Now, if you've never coached anybody before, you probably can't charge a high price. It's just the reality. It's really not ethical, nor will you get anybody to say yes. However, once you've proven you can get results for your athletes, you need to charge what you're worth, plain and simple. How much is a college scholarship worth, or an opportunity to play professionally, or even to have the confidence to hold their head high at school because they know they're a great player? How much is that worth? I guarantee you it's more than $30 an hour, $50 an hour for those of you guys that charge that. even $60 an hour, $75 an hour, it's worth way more than that. It's priceless. So there are a few pricing models that I really like that have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month for my clients. Okay? So hybrid pricing models. So a hybrid program can be a bit tricky to price depending on how you charge for in-person sessions. But here's what I've seen work. You can do membership plus lessons. So typically, most coaches will price their services for an hourly rate. What I've seen work exceptionally well is to sell the remote portion of your program as a membership and then have a discount on lessons for your in-person athletes, or you can even have it be free. So for example, a $250 a month for membership to your online program, lessons are typically $100 an hour. They're only $75 an hour for members. So if they come in 4 times a month, you're making $550 a month as opposed to $400 a month, right? It's only $150 extra, but let's say you train 100 athletes. That is the difference between 15 grand. Or they come in 2 times a month, you make the same amount of money, but for half the time, right? And they get way more value because of what I just showed you on the online stuff. Hopefully that's a light bulb moment for you. So packages. Packages are the easiest way to get cash up front. So if you're selling a definitive amount of time for the program, let's say a 12-week summer program, you can itemize all of your services. So for example, it's $100 an hour for a lesson. It's $250 a month for membership in a remote program. Program comes with 3 months of membership plus 12 lessons. Total cost, it's $1,950. It's monthly fee of $550 a month for 3 months, or you can prepay for a discount of just $1,500. Most of you guys watching this have never gotten a paycheck for $1,500. I'll never forget the first time I ever made over $1,000 from a strictly internet sale. Totally changed my life. Totally changed my life. Once I realized I could do it once. I realized I could do it 100 times, and I did it to over 250 times. So remote pricing models. Remote programs I've seen sell 2 ways: upfront package or long-term contract. So the upfront package is similar to the packaging of a hybrid program. However, you're just selling a definitive amount of time for a specific program, typically for a season, right? So let's say it's a 6-month program for 6 payments of $400 a month, or a one-time investment of just $2 grand. So they save a month right there. So it's essentially buy 5, get 1 free. And then a long-term contract should be anything longer than a 6-month program. This is typically for coaches or sports that like to phase their athletes all throughout the year. So if you have like an in-season, an off-season, different programs like that, then you should try and get people on as long of a contract as possible, because that's actually what they need. They actually need to stay consistent with one coach for 12 months if they really want to get better, right? And so for example, a 12-month program, you can go $400 a month, or 6 payments, or 4 payments, or 2 payments, or 1 payment. I would just give people 2 options, maybe 3. So selling high ticket online coaching is likely the best way to not only achieve time and financial freedom, but it's also the best way to get results. And obviously not every family can afford services like this. And if you want to make a less custom program based off the program you make, do that. But families are spending thousands of dollars on showcases, camps, recruiting services to suck. They're spending thousands of dollars on recruiting services, camps, showcase to suck. They need to get good first. They're going to pay somebody, and it might as well be you. So, step 7, get insane results. So getting insane results is a byproduct of actually caring about your athletes. But if you followed the process thus far, you'll have created a foundation for success. And as time goes on, you'll want to continue to update, tweak, and improve your program and individualize it for each person, right? So the best way to ensure that you do that is by collecting feedback from your athletes. While your test subjects should have given you tons of great feedback, you'll need more people to have gone through your program to really get a gauge. And not just more people, but strangers. Because the test subjects already knew you, they liked you, and they trusted you. Training random people over the internet, believe me when I say this, will be the true test of how good of a coach you actually are. Because most people train athletes and tell them exactly what to do, whereas coaching somebody on the internet is all about getting people to do the things that they know they should already be doing. Right? So the results of your program are largely dependent on their own ability to take action on what you prescribe for them. So how can we maximize the results we get from our athletes? Well, we work directly with them and discover the issues that they're running into, and then we take ownership over the problems. So a mistake I made in the past was just assuming that the athletes I was working with were just stupid and didn't want it bad enough. then I realized you have to keep selling your athletes on you and your program, right? People will buy your program strictly because they feel motivated in that moment and want to solve a problem. And then as soon as they realize that like, oh, it's not as easy as I thought it was when things get tough, that's when discipline kicks in. And part of the reason they're paying you as a coach is to hold them accountable and do your best to force the discipline. And so help them build the habits they need to have success. I believe that it's virtually impossible for a young athlete to not get better if they just followed a plan for 6 months with no deviation. So your job as a coach is to give them the blueprint and tools they need to be successful, then make sure they stay on the path and use the tools you gave them properly. If you can do that, online coaching will be the best thing to ever happen to you. I'm going to say that again. If you can do that, if you can give your athletes a blueprint and tools they need to be successful and make sure they stay on the path and use the tools you gave them properly, online coaching will be the best thing to ever happen to you. I promise. Okay. Number 8, identify who gets the best results. After 10 to 20 people have gone through your program, you'll probably have identified the best performers in your program, the athletes who got the best results, took up the least amount of your time, and did exactly what you said. Those guys. What did those guys do that was so much different than everybody else? They say that success leaves clues, and I'm 100% a believer in that. Look at the clues and determine who gets the best results within your program. And you'll start to notice patterns. So for example, my best athletes were all high school level athletes who were from cold weather areas and were already pretty good, but needed to take the step to be really good. They completed all the necessary requirements in order to start the program the same night they paid for the program. They sent me video of your progress within their first week. They had their first win in the program, like a PR or, like a positive outcome, etc., within the first 2 weeks. And I had to constantly give these guys more stuff rather than trying to pull teeth to get them to do just one simple exercise. These guys were just different. Like they just wanted it more. Everything about them. In the next section, I'll explain why it's so important to do this exercise. Okay, because now, number 9, we're going to cater everything to just our best clients. And so once you've identified exactly who your best clients are, it's time to double down on just those guys. And when you first start training your online program, you should be willing to take on just about anybody. You don't really have the luxury of being picky. Okay, but once you figure out how to generate leads and sign new clients, you'll get to choose who you want to work with. And if you like the idea of making more money for less of your time while getting the best results you've ever got from your athletes, then this is exactly what you need to do. Number 1, create all of your marketing materials that target your best clients specifically. This will create even more demand for your program from your best clients because they'll know you're speaking directly to them. Okay, number 2, call out their problems. Show them how you've solved those problems with other athletes just like them and win their trust. Because the more specific you are in your marketing, the more it'll hit home with who you really want to work with. And once you attract exactly who you want, you can now make your program more specific to help with those athletes' problems specifically. This will create an even better experience for your athletes because now you'll essentially know what problem they're going to solve, in what order. You'll know what's going to happen before it happens. So you can create your program to progress in that way, leading to better results, which leads to better marketing material, which leads to more leads, which leads to more sales, which leads to more clients, which leads to more results. Do you see how this thing works now? Hopefully, because now you can essentially focus most of your efforts on acquiring new athletes rather than creating a new program every single time. Each athlete can get a program that's completely tailored to them with very few tweaks on your end to the main program you've built because they all have the same problem. And the more athletes you run through the program, the better and better and better you can make it. The more video resources you'll have, the more drills you'll have to help, the more in-game breakdowns you can provide to new athletes, the more support you can provide through a large community of athletes. Everything about your program will be better. This is exactly what you need to do to create the remote training profit path. It worked for me, and it's working for 100 plus other coaches right now. And if you want to learn how you can do all of this, then I'd like to formally invite you to book a call with my team. We're dedicated to helping sports coaches just like you make more money for less of their time without sacrificing the quality of their coaching by leveraging social media and online training. On that call, we'll talk more about your situation, your goals, what's stopping you from getting there, and if we're 100% confident we can help, we'll show you a high-level strategy of how we can help you achieve your goals. There's absolutely no risk involved in this call because the worst case scenario is that will just point you in a different direction, and we'll say that. So we only want to work with coaches who are serious about growing their online business, or business online, I should say, and ready to put in the work to get the results that they desire. If you're just starting out, you don't have access to athletes, whether it be your roster or social media presence, or you're not actually serious about being a coach, then this call isn't for you. But if you are serious about taking your business to a new heights, providing insane amounts of value to your athletes, and creating the life of your dreams, then book a call with my team. We want to work with you and help you create the business and life of your dreams. I'll spend the rest of my time here explaining to you how we can help you. So first of all, I cannot stress this enough. There is not just one thing that makes this system work. It's not just about transitioning your athletes to hybrid, using the right software, posting on social media, or even having the right price point, even paid ads. It's all of it. It's called a system for a reason. And in the system, each piece is vital to your success. So one missing piece from the system, the system won't run properly. It would easily take you 300 plus hours to implement everything that we've put together for you if you try to figure it out on your own, at least. Maybe 3,000, maybe 30,000. It's literally been my life's work. And after studying how to write programs, thousands of hours training myself, training hundreds of athletes, working with hundreds of coaches, and spending countless hours trying to figure out the most effective way to do this, I've created a shortcut for you because let's be serious. If you're a great coach, a hard worker, and have a growth mindset, the type of person that absolutely crushes in our program, by the way, you can probably figure this out on your own. The problem is it's going to take you tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of time. And if you're a busy coach in person, you probably don't have the time to figure this out on your own, nor do you want to set up things improperly. So if you want to cut the line and learn how you can implement the remote training profit path, then book a call with my team today. By working with our team directly, you'll save hundreds of hours, maybe thousands of hours trying to figure this out on your own and have the entire system up and running in 90 days or less. So think about what your time is worth. If you charge, let's say $100 an hour for your lessons and you spent 300 hours on the low side to figure this entire thing out by yourself, that's time you could have spent making 30 grand minimum. Our clients get the entire system up and running with 20 hours of work or less. So what do you value more, time or money? And if you say money, when's the last time you found 5 minutes on the ground? Time is the only resource that we can never get more of. You can always make more money, but you will never get your time back. And I'm not asking you to do anything I haven't done myself. Spent over $50,000 myself on coaches, mentors, masterminds, courses, etc. And I consider myself to be a pretty smart guy. So why would I have paid so much money to learn how to do things? One word, speed. Faster I can move forward, the further I can get in my life. If you value time over money and you want a shortcut, then book a call with my team, because not only does working with us get you speed, it gets you accountability. What most people who try to figure it out themselves do is they say they're going to do it. They just need to get some things together. But what do they really do? They tell themselves they're going to try it out. They do a ton of planning. I see this all the time. They do a ton of planning, and as soon as it comes time to start taking action, they don't know where to start, and so they keep putting off until it never happens. If you're watching this right now, maybe you've been thinking about doing online training for a couple months, maybe a couple of years. You've always thought it was genius. Look, more planning, more thinking. This document is not going to change your situation. You cannot afford to wait. Ask yourself this question: is remote training going to be bigger or smaller in 10 years? The answer is 100% bigger, way bigger. Everything in the world is going online, and you have a massive opportunity in front of you to create something special. So do you want to look back in 10 years and regret not starting a remote training business? I really hope not. And my team and I will give you the exact blueprint. We'll hold your hand and show you how you can achieve the same success that we've helped so many others achieve. So if you want to build something for the future and you're a long-term thinker, then book a call with my team. You make a one-time investment for the rest of your life. I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you're still here, book a call with me and my team. I work with over 100 coaches right now. I have 21-year-olds literally making $2,000 plus in a week. I've worked with dozens of coaches making over $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. I made over $30,000 a month doing online training. I just got a text from an athlete the other day. I literally haven't talked to him in probably a year, and he just hit me up and was like, "Hey Nick, I just hit 88 for the first time, and I couldn't have done this without you." So this is a kid that I met through the internet. Shout out Dallas. If you're watching this, you're the GOAT. But seriously, if you want to learn how you can do online training and you want a shortcut and you want to you don't want to have to put in the hundreds of thousands of hours that it's actually going to take, that it's seriously going to take you to figure out, then book in a call with me or my team. We'll walk you through, we'll get you onboarded, get you enrolled in the program right then and there. And we have guys that have made over $23,000 in the first 30 days. So the results speak for themselves. If you want help, hit us up. I appreciate y'all watching this. This is Nick Neville. I'll catch y'all on the next one.